Well, it's Thursday, and you all know what that means. If you probably can know right about now, TNA has begun the road to Slammiversary, one of their bigger shows of the year. So battle lines will be drawn starting now. But the real question I think some of you may ask, of course, what to expect. Well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And then our final review is Ring of Honor featuring many matches and many talent, such as, of course, Shane Taylor Promotions, the Infantry, Shane Taylor, and of course Lee Moriarty. We even have Bandido taking on Mansoor from MXM Collection and plenty other talent as well. And as usual, we will cap up our episode, as always, with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the yapping. It's time to get cracking. So, let's begin with our very first review, and this is, of course, TNA. Okay, TNA. Now, as you all know, we already come out, of course, of their latest pay-per-view against a lot, so we're now on the road to Slammiversary. So we opened up, of course, where Santino Marella tries to talk to Mike Santana. Apparently, Mike Santana has been suspended for 2 weeks after, of course, right now Santana is not in a good mood. However, Santino said if he does this solid for him, just take his suspensions, he'll get him his match against AJ Francis. So basically, Santino, as you know, has always been the man of his word. He will keep to that promise. However, of course, well, the big crybaby who lost to him in against all odds, Robert Stone, tried to sneak in. Well, security actually booted him out, and he cries like a little girl. You know, that's how it ends right there. However, as you know, Santino Marella is still our current Director of Authority in TNA. Well, he, of course, mentioned exactly what I said. We are now on the road to Slammiversary. But, however, he mentioned few things could happen, so it appears now in Slammiversary, the first match that's been announced, Leon Slater will get his wish come true. He's going to challenge Moose for the X Division Championship. Now, Leon Slater had mentioned countless times that he wants to be the youngest ever X Division Champion. Can he pull it off? I mean, Slammiversary is the perfect example where he can make that a possibility. He even talked about the Champions Challenge. For those who don't know, it basically is more like The champions will be picking wrestlers on their side for future opportunity for championships. So we'll see how that rolls. He even talked about, of course, a knockouts 8-4-1 match. If you guys are unfamiliar with that, you started out with 8 wrestlers in an 8-person tag match. Then that team will face each other in a 4-way, and then up to one person. So this match will, in fact, of course, go into who will be the number 1 contender to challenge Masha Slamovich for the Knockouts World Title. And then, of course, as you know, he is determined to find out who will be the next person because, of course, Santino Marella knows that the TNA fan base, including the locker room, are not too keen about the idea of having their championship in the hands of someone who's not even from TNA. So he's going to handle that. So he's going to find a number 1 contender who would challenge him at Slammiversary. So we'll see how things will roll up. Now, he of course jumps into to our first match of the night. It features, of course, the Inspiration. Yep, the Inspiration taking on Misa Kate and Brittany Brooke. Now, of course, it's been nearly 3 years since, of course, the Inspiration wrestled. But we know they've been wrestling recently after, they've been in reality coming back from their paternity leave. But now it seems things are going well for them. However, this match ended exactly like I would have hoped for because it was the Inspiration with the Idolizer on Misa Kate. And just like that, it was Cassidy that picked up the win by pinfall. 1, 2, 3. The Inspiration win. But I think many of us would probably ask ourselves, what does the Elegance brands are thinking? Well, I'm sure they consider them as a threat, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now, the Hardys, as you know, are now back. Apparently, they are still aiming to reclaim back the TNA World Tag Team belts. So basically, their feud with the Menace Brothers has not go unfinished. So we will see what happens. Now, of course, as you know, recently we've been seeing the First Class, KC Navarro and AJ Francis, have been teaming up with Trick Williams, as you probably can guess. Apparently, they will be teaming up this coming Tuesday to take on, of course, Elijah and, of course, Yoshiki and Briggs. So basically, that's what we're going to expect. Now, in the back, we did see the System having a little talk with Jason Hodge. Apparently, it seems now the System decided to, recruit, of course, Jason Hodge, because they're saying, look, we're seeing cracks within the Order 4. But, of course, Mustafa Ali was not having it. So that's pretty much what happened. And then, of course, they jump in, of course, to Matt Cardona in his face. But they said that that Matt Cardona said he'll pick a partner for next week. And of course, there was one person who was right there who we know had teamed up countless times, and that's Brian Myers. But the real question is, what's going to happen? Well, we'll just wait to see as well coming next week. Now, our next match, we have Jason Hodge taking on Leon Slater, because as you all know, Leon Slater has earned the right to challenge for the X Division title, so he has to go through Jason Hodge. And of course, I'm sure Leon Slater would have his eyes open knowing that John Skyler was right there, but he was able to survive this match when he applied the 450 Swanton, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, Tessa Blanchard was interviewed by Gia. As you know, she is part of the 8-4 number 1 contendership. Well, Tessa, of course, continues to disrespect Gia, thinking that, she can't do the news right. But she claims that she'll walk out as the winner, but we will see. Now, our next match is the number 1 contendership for the Knockouts World Title in the 8-4-1 match. So here's who participated. We had Rosemary, Danny Luna, Tessa Blanchard, Zaya Brookside, Jody Thread, Tasha Steeles, Killer Kelly, and Indy Hartwell. So basically, the teams that teamed up was, of course, Killer Kelly, Indy Hartwell, and Jody Threat, and I believe Tasha Steeles. But of course, that's one team. Rosemary, so basically that's the whole thing. However, I can tell you to skip ahead who won this one. Well, surprise, surprise, is Killer Kelly, who walked away as the win when she picked up the victory. However, of course, now it's becoming more interesting. Now, Masha Slamovich, as you know, has been watching in the back. And of course, Gia asked her about how she feels about having her former tag partner. I mean, it's no secret about their history. If you guys ever seen their early time they faced each other, it was a brutal match. And that kind of win out. But of course, Masha said she knows exactly what Killer Kelly thinks. She knows exactly how damaged she is. She knows all of it. So we'll see what happens. Now, Steve Macklin, as you know, well, apparently, he talked about, of course, Mance Warner, about his match towards him and that sort of thing. But however, of course, Mance and his main squeeze, Steph the Landers, are not done yet. However, Tommy Dreamer decided to confront him about everything, but of course, Mance Warner completely lost control and all this and that. Now, Sammy Callahan was, of course, in the back doing his little video promo until he's interrupted by the Northern Armory. Well, he got attacked by them, so you probably can guess how that was going to go. Now, our main event, it features, of course, the first class Casey Navarro and Casey Navarro and AJ Francis taking on the Hardys. Well, you can guess how this was going to go. I mean, it could have been either way, the Hardys picking up the win, but it ended with the Hardys winning by disqualification with the arrival of Trick Williams. But Joe Hendry and Elijah showed up to even the score, and then, of course, the Rascals and Slater showed up, and then, of course, the System showed up, and then more people did. However, all hell broke loose, and just like that, we saw that, Slater took out everybody outside the ring, making a statement. So we are now can say that the battle lines are now being drawn for the upcoming Slammiversary. So I can't wait to see how things will go. So we'll see how things will progress starting now all the way to Slammiversary. But as of right now, we are officially done with TNA. Let's move on, of course, with Ring of Honor. Last review, Ring of Honor. It opened up, of course, with Shane Taylor Promotions, or better known as STP. As always, as you know, claiming that they are the ones who are going to run the entire Ring of Honor, but also claiming themselves that they are the most dangerous group. So we'll see how things will roll up from here and out from there. Now, our first match, we have tag team action. We have Atlantis Jr. and Templario teaming up to take on Los Depredadores, consisting of Magnus and Volador Jr. Now, of course, it's no secret that that the Depredadores are the heel faction of this group. Of course, they are determined to prove their point no matter what. But we definitely were going to see high spots from both sides. But in the end, it was Atlantis Jr. with the frog splash onto Magnus, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Preston Vance representing the Frat House taking on Dark Order's Evil Uno. Now, of course, it's no secret when it comes to the Frat House that they have numbers. Of course, they tried to get involved, but luckily Alex Reynolds tried to get involved, but it was just way too much until Preston Vance grabbed the paddle and whacked Evil Uno, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, of course, during the post-match, the Frat House decided to beat down both Reynolds and Uno. Out of nowhere, we just saw Johnny Hunging return. Of course, we're talking about John Silver. Man, it's been a while since we've seen him. So now he's back, ready to kick some A. So basically, of course, this is the last thing I think Preston Vance expected. However, nothing has changed when it comes to the Dark Order, because apparently they were dealing with Griff Garrison, and John Silver's like, who the F is Griff Garrison? Which brings back the BTE days. Of course, if you remember, that's when Griff Garrison was, they're trying to put him into the Dark Order, but of course, the late Brody Lee said, hell no. But yes. So we'll see how things will roll up. Now, Red Velvet, before her match, apparently she set up a message for, of course, the ladies from CMLL. This is going to be interesting. As you know, she will be making her return CML. For those who may not remember, last year she participated in a tournament involving, of course, her and many other wrestlers around the world, including wrestlers from AEW too. So that's the message she's got. However, she has to face against Harley Lopez, and you probably can guess this match ended with Red Velvet pick up the win when she applied the straight up your mama's kitchen, and just like that, it was over. Now, Shane Taylor Promotions take on a couple of guys, Von Vertigo, Martian Webb, Riley Reinhardt, and Joe Demaro. But you can guess this match was definitely going to go in favor into Shaylinter Promotions until I kind of lost track who was the person who got submitted, but it was Lee Moriarty who did the Border City stretch, and just like that, it was over. Now, our main event, we have Mansoor from MXM Collection being accompanied by both Johnny TV and Teo Valkyrie. He takes on, of course, the Ring of Honor World Champion Bandido. Now, of course, it's no secret that if Mansoor, by any means necessary, pins Bandido, he could definitely get an opportunity for the Ring of Honor World title. And of course, by standard, we did see, of course, Mason Madden, Teo Valkyrie, and Johnny TV tried to help him, which of course they did on multiple occasions until they were caught by Brie Edwards. Yes, they got their hand caught in a cookie jar, and of course, you're out of there. And just like that, it was over. But however, Bandido was able to overcome it by applying the 21 plex, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he picked up the win. However, in the post-match, we did see Lee Johnson making his way to the ring. It's still unclear what's going on until Blake Christian blindsided him from the back. So it appears now that they're targeting Bandido because he has something that they want, and it's, of course, the Ring of Honor World title. But however, it was just 2-on-1 for Bandido until he was saved by his opponent that he will be facing this coming Tuesday for the Ring of Honor World title, and that is, of course, Máscara Dorada. So he gave the save. And of course, I'm sure Blake Christian is going to wait for the right moment until he obtained that belt. Well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens next week as well. So until then, we are officially done with our reviews. Let's move on with the last and final thing, which is, of course, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin as always with upcoming events. We only have 2 updates on that part of our news updates. So our first one, as you know, on the 15th of June, Deadlock Pro Wrestling with Victory Lap, it was announced that the DPW World title will be defended. The current champion, Adam Priest, will defend it against former champion, of course, the Heavyweight Hustle, Calvin Tankman. And then finally, Spark Joshi Puroresu of America with their Texas event, Ignite Texas, that will take place on the 29th of June. They just announced Ridley Thorne will be participating. I don't know who she is. If anybody knows who she is, please leave a comment so I can look her up. So that's pretty much it for upcoming events. Let's move on to our developments. First thing on this one, congratulations to RVD and his wife, Katie Forbes. Many may not have heard this. Well, we're having a baby Van Dam making their way. That's right. Rob Van Dam and his wife are expecting their first child together, and they just announced it on social media. I'm so happy for them. I mean, I don't think he's ever had any kids, but it's great to hear that, you know, he's going to be a dad. It's still, I don't know exactly what the gender is going to be, but I'm sure every step of the way we will follow this, and I'm sure many of you guys are excited. So we're going to see a baby Van Dam. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So congratulations, guys. Now, as you may know, Fightful Select reported that certain wrestlers have been announced to participate as gladiators for the upcoming American Gladiators. Well, 2 more names have been announced, and I don't know if you guys heard this. Those names, of course, it's Warlow and Camille. Now, we haven't heard from these 2 recently, but it would explain why we haven't heard anything from them. If they've been working on this project for a while, it would make absolute sense. I mean, they are perfect for the role to be gladiators. I mean, it's not the first time we've seen wrestlers that participating as American Gladiators. For those who may not remember, if you guys remember years ago, there was another revival of the American Gladiators, and among them was Matt Morgan, that big dude from TNA. Well, yeah, he was one of the gladiators. So it would make absolute sense that, of course, that these 2 would participate. So it would make sense. Now, the real question is, were they auditioning? Were they filming? That's a good question. We just don't know yet. Not a lot of information has been told about American Gladiator, but we'll see. Now, moving on. PW Insider has revealed that, of course, Hikuleo, as you know, who, as you probably remember him, he was part of the Bullet Club, and then he was kicked out. He left Bullet Club when he joined his brother Tama and Tongaloa. And then, of course, he left New Japan recently. But, of course, we did knew he was signed with WWE. Well, apparently they say that he will be debuting, of course, tomorrow on Friday for SmackDown, and most likely will be joining Solo Sikoa. So that would make absolute sense. I mean, people probably expected him to be in NXT. We haven't heard anything. We don't know what was the main reason they hold them up, why they waited, but we do know he's been participating at the Performance Center during this entire time. But hopefully more answers has been made. Now, final development here. Many of you guys remember Nao Kakuta, former wrestler for Tokyo Pro Wrestling. As you know, she retired early this year. Well, apparently, as you know, recently she participated as a ref during the Natsu Saori 10th anniversary show. As you probably know, she is good friends with Natsupoi and Saori Anu back from their Actress Girls days. Well, apparently her referee status has not been, how to say, overlooked. Apparently, she's being asked to referee once again, but this time back to the company where she last worked with Tokyo Pro Wrestling. So yeah, that's going to happen on the 28th of June for the Inspiration Show at the Tokyo Square at Atibashi. And the match is going to be, of course, between Tai Hamna, Miyuki Yakase taking on Yoshiko Hasegawa and Kaya Toribami. So it's great now that Nao Kakuta is refereeing. I wouldn't be surprised if her not wrestling and now she's refereeing is going to be a full-time thing here. If she enjoys it, I'm sure many of us will be happy for her that she found something cool to do, even if she's not wrestling. I mean, it's sad that we won't see her to wrestle, but if she decides to take this job as a referee, that would be awesome. And hopefully it would be awesome to see her do that. I mean, we're seeing Sunny from Evolution, even though she retired as a wrestler due to the fact of her injury, but she continues to ref, and I think that's great too. So I wouldn't be surprised if she decides to do that. But for now, this is pretty much what we have for our developments on our news updates and everything else. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, well, I haven't decided yet what I want to do. I am considering, of course, trying to catch up and put in a one soup. I'm trying to catch up with Mighty Gold, Tokyo Pro Wrestling, Sendai Girls, and a few others. So I haven't decided yet what I want to go from there. But we'll just have to wait and see. So, wish me luck on that part. But as of right now, that's pretty much it. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.